lovely people. James and John here today at Johnny's Nursery in Redlands, California. Before we get started on our video, if you like what we do, please click on the like and subscribe button below to stay up to alert with all of our latest videos. So, John, why are we here today?
So we're here at Johnny's Nurseries located in Redlands, California, who has a claim to fame, so to say, about making sure that all their plants are grown here locally, so they're already pre-acclimated to the environment, so they don't die immediately as soon as you buy them and send them home. We're actually lucky enough to get an interview with both Johnny and his wife, Tressa, co-owners of Johnny's Nursery. So why don't you join us inside? Hello, my name is Jonathan.
Hi, and I'm Tressa Chadwick. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And then you see that we are here at Johnny's Nursery, located in
Redlands, California. We're kind of in the jewel of Redlands through Santa Mateo Canyon.
When did Johnny's first get started?
Johnny's has been in business since 1979. We have been at this location since 2006, opening up to the public at that time.
Okay. And is this the only location that you guys currently have?
This is the only retail location that we have. We have about a mile down the road, we have our growing facility, which is where we do all of our propagation, where we do our test plants, things of that nature.
Now, moving to Redlands or being in the Inland Empire itself, what are some of the difficulties that you've had with this type of climate? Usually very drought-like conditions.
Well, we have very many microclimates. So the microclimates throughout the Inland Empire. There's things like, this is called fiber optics grass is its common name, and this grows fabulous indoors. It grows great in shade, but if you put it out in our sun here in Redlands, San Bernardino, Highland area, Yucaipa, it will burn and it will die. But you can take this same grass and you can put it in Rancho Cucamonga in full sun and it just absolutely thrives. Difficulty that we found through the years and that we've had to overcome is how hot we get. Our first summer that we were here in 2006, we had one day of 117 degrees down here. Normally everything was like 95, maybe 100. And this past summer, we had about 3 weeks where it was 117, 110, 100. We had 120 one day. So that is a challenge for us, trying to make sure that all the plants stay hydrated because they're in containers. Difference between plants being in containers and actual plants being planted in the ground. There's a difference in how their root structure reacts to the heat and to the cold. We're climbing in heat. People don't like to believe that, but we've noticed a huge change. We noticed that where we could grow a certain type of a plant 10 years ago, it's too hot for our environment. We can't grow it anymore. For instance, one of the #1, people call them pine-looking trees, which are Cedrus deodora. You know, you find them all over Redlands. They were planted back in, you know, the early 1900s, the 1800s, and they're big and beautiful. It's hard to get them to survive out here because it takes so much water and they get so hot that they end up just burning.
So that's interesting. So when you guys first moved to Redlands, there are certain plants that you were growing when you first started, and then now they just won't grow. Oh wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. How many different kinds of plants do you grow?
Okay, so at last count, we grow about 250 different varieties, and within those varieties, we grow multiples. So for instance, there's a plant that's called euonymus, and in the euonymuses, we grow about 10 or 13 different varieties. We do test marketing. So people will continuously ask us for a type of plant, and you know, we read on it, we look at it, and we think, I don't know that we really want to go and grow 500 to 1,000 of these plants and then not have them work. So we do a lot of test marketing. So we test market them, we buy a plant, and we have it grow in our area here. We might have it grow here, we might have it grow in our propagation area. I might give a plant to somebody that's going to go ahead and take it home, and this is how I want you to take care of it. This is where I want you to, water it, take care of it, baby it. So we do a lot of different test marketing of plants, and we do that anywhere from about a year to 3 years to really see how something's going to work. And then if it works really well, then propagate it. Here's one actually right here. This is called Comprosma. And this one's called Evening Glow. Common name is mirror plant, and we used to grow this plant, and then for the longest time it was just getting too hot in the shade. It was just burning. There was nothing we could do about it. And so Johnny decided he wanted to do a test market on it. So we brought in a different color, and this is called Evening Glow, and we did a huge test market on it, and it's amazing that it's doing really well. So we're excited. We've actually watched it from cuttings all the way up. It will do well here in shade, even with our hot summer with the shade. It does fabulous. Can't put it in the sun like you might find this plant like in San Diego in full sun, okay. Even Orange County in full sun, but we still can't put it in full sun. It will go ahead and burn.
And that's one of the things that actually kind of drew me to this place, because you guys make sure that you grow everything here, so it's a little bit already adapted to the climates that we have.
Absolutely, it's all acclimated. All acclimated. And that's probably one of the things that we've been really known for. People come in, is that we have the knowledge behind it, behind us. We have the plants are already acclimated. People feel comfortable knowing that they can walk around and they can go, oh, what happened here? And I'll go, oh, dead plant. I don't know, let's find out. And because we do have coyotes and things of that nature. So sometimes we lose plants to that. But sometimes, just like everybody else, you might see a whole row of plants, and then all of a sudden, there might be just one or two that they just don't look really as great. I might have missed when I fertilized. So, it might not be as beautiful as the other.
That's great. So you don't even take, say if a plant happens to die off, you don't really take that as a failure. You take that as a learning opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
How do I make this better, or what works better?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's all about, that's just normal life. It's all how you're going to look at it. You get up in the morning, and if somebody is in a bad mood, you're gonna choose to have a great day. Don't let somebody ruin your day. So I'm not gonna let a plant, let's look at it, find out what's going on with it, what's the reasoning for it. Which again, last night I just got on my phone, a customer texted me. They bought a plant someplace else, and they've had it for about a year and a half. It was a plant that I don't grow, and they turned around and said, what's going on with it? So they sent me a boatload of photographs, and then by me looking at it, I can tell what's going on. Usually in this situation, I can tell what's going on. And so she has mice, some sort of varmints that are eating around her branch of her, not tree, but shrub.
Yeah. Do you happen to have any plants that you would say is kind of unique to Johnny's? So where, like, if I went to another nursery, say in Rialto or Riverside,
that you might not find special. It. Actually, we do. It's called Grevillea fanfare. Grevillea fanfare is a ground cover, and it's beautiful. The leaf kind of looks like an oak leaf a little bit, and then the flowers come out. They're very unique looking. They're kind of a ruby red in color, very pretty. And we've taken that and we have grafted that onto a tree.
Oh, wow.
It comes down in layers, and it's very pretty. It's very, very beautiful. And we have probably right now maybe about, I'm gonna say 15 that are in existence right now. It was just kind of something again that we're playing with to see whether people like it, and they're ending up loving it. So it's going to be something that we're going to continue to do, and actually do more of a majority or a vast majority of them, so we can always bring price down for them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that working at someplace like this with all the different variations of plants that you were saying, that you probably use a bunch of different types of tools. Like, what would you say is your most common tools that you use in like this area?
Pruners, and these are Bacos, and I love them because they're indestructible. I do have one employee who has like a grip that he can just break anything, but these are good. They're easy. They're easily replaced blades and things of that nature. So that's the number one thing. And then the smaller set of pruners, and that's for, I want it more like a scissors. Sometimes we do use scissors. So, so we want to cut stuff, like when this starts to get too big and stuff like this, and we need to cut it off, we can just, we just cut it off. So we like to use it a lot like scissors. A lot of tools that they use over at the other yard, the propagation yard, the growing facility, is a little bit different. They might use some tools, they might pull some tools out. I know that our propagation, she's got obviously propagation knives and things of that nature, but she uses Felco. She loves her Felcos. It just really kind of depends, you know, on what we do. But this is the number one, pruning. I need a good pruner that I can cut roots with and then wipe off and then turn around and still going to have it sharp so I can go ahead and trim a tree branch with it. So that's why I like the Bachos personally. But anyway, go ahead.
Now, I know you mentioned that sometimes you actually use scissors too. Do you have like any other unique tools that might not necessarily be categorized as tools that you might use for gardening?
You know, a lot of times I use, it's going to sound really funny, but we have bark throughout. So when I'm pulling weeds and stuff like that, if I'm out there and I don't have my tool, I'll pick up a piece of bark depending, and start moving that. So that's not really a tool, but forks.
Oh, okay.
Are good. Steak knives are really good. You're telling me an odd stuff, right? Also those screwdrivers, different types of screwdrivers. The other type of tool that I like is a spackling tool. That works with weeds really well. Also works to cut stuff down. So for instance, you've actually chosen a great here because this is a plant that can just take abuse, and it's fiber optics. So I would use a pair of scissors. I might also use a spackling spatula if I'm going to divide this.
Okay.
A lot of times when we go to divide our grasses, depending upon like if we're going to do pampas grass, we do a dwarf non-receding pampas grass. Those are good roots. They're really hard roots in there. So we use axes and things of that nature. I think Johnny actually uses a sawzall when he cuts palm fronds.
And so that's something that's important, that there is actually a Johnny's at Johnny's Nursery.
Yeah, there is a Johnny's at Johnny's Nursery. You'll meet him later.
Wait, now if you don't mind, would you be able to show us around in some of these places? Or some of the nursery area?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, I'm good. We can go whenever you guys are ready. So we're actually in the shade cloth area. So majority of the stuff that's in here needs to stay in the shade, although there's probably about 25% of the stuff that can be placed in full sun. So to the right here, these are called Nandina domestica compact, or nanas. This is a dwarf variety, gets about 2 feet by 2 feet. It goes completely red and orangish color during the summer months. This can be placed out in full sun. These are Agapanthus. These can be placed in full sun. These are flaxes. These can be placed in semi-sun. Really depends upon what it is that your area can hold with direct sun and whatnot. Again, this would be something that we would have in Rancho Cucamonga that would be absolutely great. Come back down through here. Obviously, I don't know if anybody knows much. These are birds of paradise. These do absolutely wonderful in full sun as well. They will flower in shade as well. So this is our shade area, and you can see we have more of stuff that flowers, which is fun. This is called Casalpinia, excuse me, Pulcherima, also known as Pride of Barbados. Everybody else, common name is called the Mexican, red Mexican bird of paradise. So if you want to follow me, maybe we should go this way and kind of out into the other parts of the nursery. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay. A landscape plant for a really long time. It's called, common name is pineapple guava. The flowers are 4 petals, kind of pinkish, and then they have like a red bottle brush in the center. And the petals are edible. They taste kind of like marshmallows, so the kids can eat them. And then, I don't know if you can zoom in on this, it's got its fruit. So this is going to be oh, we do have a little bit of a flower still right here. It's an older flower, but anyway, so you can see that. And yeah, these are all edible right here, and then this is what turns into the fruit right here, this stamen. And so these will be ready to eat end of November.
Okay.
And they get probably about some 3 inches to 6 inches, depending. Has a very small hint of flavor of pineapple very sugary, very good. Anyway, it's a great landscape plant and not one that you have to worry about if you have kids or dogs or anything like that, because they can eat it. It's not going to harm them or anything. And that's another thing here that we try and do is we also try and make sure that if you have two-legged children or four-legged children, we want to make sure that we are into relationship selling with you so that we know what you have and how to protect your family as well, because I mean, let's face it, you guys do what you do, we do what we do, we all go to professionals for that reason. And so we just always want to make sure that your family, whether again it's two-legged or four-legged, that everybody is being taken care of.
And here at Johnny's Nurseries, what would you say is your #1 selling plant?
This is crepe myrtles. These are the #1 sellers right now. That people love them because they flower. It seems like they flower for a really long time, and they do. I think one of the reasons for that is because there's not really anything else flowering. I mean, you have a few things that flower, but not anything that's in a tree form that's just so profuse. And what's nice about this is, as soon as we trim this, so we'll pretend that this is done blooming right here. So I'm going to trim this right here. And then, so what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and get some more flowers on this stalk. So you can do that about 2 to 3 times with the crepe myrtle, and they will be flowering for you and loving it for the rest of their blooming season. So we do a variety of colors.
And that unique plant that you were talking about, unique to Johnny's?
So this is that plant that I was talking to you about that is kind of unique to us. It's very pretty. It blooms almost all the time. It really does a huge blooming attraction during spring, but it just blooms kind of here and there. Great on a patio, but we just, you know, fell in love with something like this.
Is this about the size that it gets to?
Yeah, it's only going to get as tall as whatever it's grafted onto.
Ah.
So because it is a ground cover, we like to keep its haircut at different levels to give it that draping effect, almost that swooping effect. Isn't that cool?
Heading down the road from the nursery, we were able to visit the growing facility, where we actually got to meet up with Johnny.